and welcome to today's tutorial. So for today we are going to learn how to perform classification in ArcMap. So in my previous videos we learned how to perform classification and the various types of classification in the MV software. So the MV software is basically one remote sensing software, but for ArcMap is very interesting and very fun to use, and performing classification is quite better than using the NV software. So for today, I'm going to take you through the steps involved in classification in ArcMap. So just a quick revision, classification is basically the process of grouping similar pixels or objects into classes or categories based on their spectral response or their spectral colors or properties. So you are just trying to group pixels together based on their spectral properties. So in this tutorial, we'll be using the ArcMap for this. So the ArcMap is just a GIS software that was developed by Esri. So first we need to um, load our raster image. So mind you, for classification we have the supervised and the unsupervised. So for the supervised classification, you are coming to train the computer on what to classify. So you are telling the computer all pixels like this should be water bodies, all pixels of the same properties would be airland, and all pixels like this would be settlement. But for the unsupervised classification, the computer is just trying to um, do the classification by itself based on the probability of the pixels it is having. That is why sometimes it is advisable, based on the type of analysis you want to perform, you like to use the supervised classification because you are very sure and you are performing a detailed analysis of what you are doing. Because you've gone to the field or you have a base map, you'll be able to know which pixel or which portion is water body, which portion is um, bare land. Sometimes for the unsupervised classification, because the computer is doing it, there are lots of mistakes. For instance, if here it's a vegetation, the computer can mistaken it to be a water body, and it is quite stressful. So the supervised classification, we are going to start with the supervised classification. So with the supervised classification, you need to create a training data or a training sample or a signature file for the classification. So um, with this raster image, it has pixels. So when you zoom in, you're going to see the pixels. So this is what you'll be using for the classification. All right. So we need just a portion of this raster image and not entirely everything. So to do that, I'll be uploading a vector image. All right. So I have a shape file here, district shape file in Ghana. So here you see a raster and a vector image or a data. So you see in the geoprocessing tool, you cannot perform a clip using a raster and a vector data. So to do that, you need to come to your Arc toolbox and come to extraction. So when you open your Arc toolbox, you are going to see your spatial analyst tools. So you open the spatial analyst tool, then you search for extraction. So we have extraction over here. So we have extract by attribute, circle, by mask. So we are going to do extract by mask. So we click on it. So extract by mask basically extracts the cell of a raster that corresponds to the area defined by the mask. So we are going to input our mask. So to do that, since we need just a portion of and this area, let's just create a region of interest before we can continue. So to do that, let's come to our selection by attributes. Then I'll come to my region. So in case you need help on how to do this, you can go back to my previous videos and learn all the stuffs. So we have get unique, then we select our region of interest, then we apply. So as you can see, it has selected the whole of this portion for us. So we are just going to click on OK, we right click, come to data and export the data. You can rename it if you want. Yes, so it is there, so we can take off the whole of this now and we have this. However, when you uncheck this, everything is going to go. That is why we want to extract by the mask. So we come to our Arc toolbox, and as I said, you look for your spatial analyst tool. So you have the spatial analyst tools. You come to extraction and extract by mask. Then we input our data. So this is our vector, sorry, our raster image. Then we input our max feature. So the export, then you can rename it. You click on OK, and it's going to extract it for you. All right, the extract has been successful, so we can now uncheck this, and we can also uncheck this, and we have this. So you see, it is very interesting. At first, we were having this, then we added our district, then we selected our region of interest, and when we did perform the extraction, this one left, followed by this is also left, then this also left, and now we have this. All right, so to perform the classification, there are different ways to start your classification. So first, you can just come to your Arc toolbox. So we have Arc toolbox here. Come to your spatial analyst tool. Then you can select segmentation and classification. So here you have a variety of classification tools. Better still, you can use the classification tool we have here. This is very simple. So in case yours is not here, you can just right click on an empty space and select it. So you see, I don't have my classification here, so to get it, just right click and select image classification, and you have it right there. Better still, you can search for it, and it's going to pop up, search for classification, and click on search, and it's going to appear. So since we are coming to classify this image, let's start with the supervised classification. So the supervised classification, we need to create a training data or a training sample or a signature file for our classification. So to do that, we need to select the image you want to classify. So mind you, this is not the image you want to classify. The image you want to classify is the extract TIFF. So that's what we want to classify. So we need to click on this arrow here and select that image. If not, you would have done cost 90 work. So we click on it, extract. Then we click on this colored table here. That is our training sample manager. So we now start with our classification or our training sample. So we can zoom in and start with it. So here, this is what we are going to use. So you can either use a polygon, a rectangle, or a circle. Like to use a polygon. So you select the polygon and we start. So sometimes for the supervised classification, because you know exactly what you are doing, you go ahead with it. Or better still, if you don't have an idea on what your training sample is, you can just use Google Earth Pro and make sure you are classifying the right thing. Or better still, you can come to the section here, add base map, and it's going to overlay a map for you where you use that as a reference for your classification, but requires an internet connection. So let's start. So I can see a blue section here which tells me it is a water body. So I zoom in and I draw my polygons. And continue here. Then I can zoom out. Then there's also some section here, bluish. This is along the coast. So we have some too here. All right, so we can zoom out and see if, so we have another blue section here. And we can zoom out. Then let's give this so. We can zoom out and yeah, I think that would do. So once you are done classifying all the water bodies, what you need to do is just to highlight each of these, and once it's highlighted, just click on this arrow here, this tool we have here. So merge training sample. So you are merging everything as one. So let's highlight everything again. Merge as one. So you can see it has been merged. Then we can name it water bodies. So water bodies. And you can change the color to blue. So water body is represented by blue. So you can see it has been changed to blue. Then the next thing we want to do is to classify all the vegetation areas. So vegetation is usually represented with a green color. So we can identify some greenish sections here. You can also identify some green sections here. You can zoom out. Yeah, there's a typical vegetation area. There's also a typical vegetational area. We have more here. All right, so with this, you can continue to do as many as possible to get it accurate. So the same, highlight everything, and make sure you don't highlight up to the water bodies. highlight it and then use this option here, merge training samples. Then you can name it vegetation. Then you can give it a green color. So let's use this. Then we can move on to settlement. So settlement is usually represented as red. So as you can see, there's a map of Accra, a satellite image of Accra. So all the ones we have here are probably settlements. In order to check, you can use a base map or an Google Earth Pro to confirm what you're actually doing. Then we can start it all over again. Settlement. It's very big, so you can see the pixel count. This is quite easier and faster as compared to NV. We can zoom out and move to other sections. So all the coastal sites has been um, encroached. So they are all settlements. Yeah. So once you are satisfied, you can just highlight everything up to here. Then you merge it. Then we can name it settlement. So the next thing I want to do is to select Bearland. So we like to add another class. So depending on the number of classes you want, you can continue to add different classes based on what you are looking for. So Bearland is usually presented as brown. So let's identify some of the brown areas here and then give it a pixel count. To zoom out, I think we have some here, those portions. All right, so whilst you are done, you can merge everything. So merge it and you can change the class to Bearland. Bearland. So you can continue to add as many classes as you want depending on the groupings you want. Then after you are done, you can check for your histogram equalization, or you can basically check histograms of all the pixels you have done here. But the most important thing is to save it. So we are going to create a signature file. So we click on this and let's use signature. So there's another file there. So let's do it signature file. Then we save it. So after saving it, then we can now start with our classification. So you click on your classification, Then we have the interactive supervised classification. We have the maximum likelihood. We have the ISO unsupervised. We'll do that later. We have the class probability and the principal component. So depending on the type of classification you use, the classification you want, and the type of project you want, you can use any of them. And you need to also consider the weaknesses and strength of each of these. So we like to use a supervise the maximum likelihood. So we click and I input my file. Mind you, we are working with the extractive. So the one that is not needed, you can just take it off. Then we input our signature file. So we saved our signature file. Then it's there. You can change the name if you want. You click on OK, and it's going to run the analysis for you nicely and very fast. So yeah, this is what we had from the classification. This is what we had. So depending on what you want or how you did it, this is what you are going to be getting. Yeah, so you can take off the points, the markings you have here. You can just clear it and then everything is off. So you have already created your signature file. So in case what you have done is invalid, you can just go back and create another signature file, or you still want to maintain that signature file, just go ahead and maintain it. So this is the supervised classification. So you can also come to your file, the layer. So you can right click and come to properties and make some editings to your image. So here you can change the color ramp, you can change the color. So probably you want the red color to be brown. You can change it to brown. Just click on apply and you see all the reds to change to brown. Probably you want the blue to change to red. You can just change it to red and click on apply and everything is going to change. You want this to be represented as what color should we use? Black. You can just use apply black and you can see it is there as black. So this is using the supervised classification. It is very easy to use and very interesting. Or you can also explore some fields here. So here too you can use um, the classified, or you can just change the color. So it's going to be one color but in different shades. And you can also use, you probably want to change the classes again. You can add more classes to your image. So let's say you want to add 6 classes. You can just come to 6 classes and then add it, or you can just come to your classify and you can use your classification method, whether you want the equal interval, the defined interval, the quantile, the standard deviation, and the others. Or better still, you can come to your stretched, where you are basically stretching your colors from the range of 0 to 32, or from 1 to 32. So we have it here. So the same. Then you can also use the discrete colors. So depending on which you want to use, you can use it. So to perform the unsupervised classification, you can just uncheck this and we have our data. Then we just click on this. Then ISO cluster unsupervised classification. So this is very easy. Just click on it and select your file, the number of classes you would like to classify. So let's say you want to use 6 classes. We click on OK, and as fast it's going to perform your unsupervised classification for you. So this is your unsupervised classification. So as you can see here, the computer is just trying to classify things based on the probability of the pixels or how they are. All right, so you can also click and change the colors if you want. So probably you want the white to be blue. Can apply, and it's going to be blue. So all the whites here are now blue. Then you can create a map out of this map layer. It's there. You can move it. Then you start to add ouch. So I also have a video on how to work with the map layout, or the layout view, where you can create beautiful maps. So you can add your title. So land use 2023. You can add it beautifully. Then it's there. Then you can add your skill bar, your north arrow, everything. Select the ones you want, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting to use. It is ArcMap is very interesting to use. Our skill bar, it's taking some time to load. And you can add your legend. So we only need one, so we can take this off. And next, however, is there. But you see, we want to indicate what we have here, so you can right click on this and open your attributes table and add the fields to it. So you can just open, then click on add field, then you can name it classification type, classification. Then we like to use a text. So you see it's here. So based on what you want to add with this, so you can add fields as you wish and make it very, very interesting and um, um, very nice to use. So classification in ArcMap is very nice and very interesting to use. So depending on what you want, you can create a nice map from this. So I have a video on so here you can even name it vegetation, Bearland, settlement, then water bodies. Then you can click on apply, and as you can see, it is there. So you can even change the name of this. If you want, you can just maintain it. Yeah. Then you can continue to add your grade. So to add your grade, just come to your properties and um, so from here you click on an empty space here, then properties, then you can add your grade. So I have so we have the grids, and we have the coordinate systems and everything. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video and watching this tutorial on performing classification in ArcMap. So you want to learn how to produce beautiful maps using the layouts view. You can move to, you can check out my previous videos. I have videos on how to explore ArcMap and how to produce beautiful maps using the ArcMap. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and there are lots of amazing videos coming up. So in my next video, we'll be learning how to perform the service area analysis in ArcMap. So guys, thank you so much, and make sure you subscribe, share the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. Bye.